What's happening, folks? We're back for the next installment in our playthrough of Shining Force CD, though full disclosure, I'm recording this audio after I shot the video, which is to say I did the audio live like I always do. And my computer must have glitched because not only did it stop recording the audio before I finished playing, which I only noticed once I did finish playing, but even though I tried to record the remainder of the video with like new audio, I then noticed that the part that had been recorded initially had some weird time glitch where everything was out of sync. And even when I tried to like adjust I tried to move around the audio recording on the timeline, it would like fix in one part and then it would still be completely off by multiple minutes in other sections. So ultimately the audio is completely useless. So now I'm just gonna have to record it after the fact, like a sports commentary on my own video. So yes, I have already played this 2-hour and 15-minute playthrough, and now I'm just gonna comment on it afterwards. So we're both watching it together, and of course I know some of the things that are gonna happen, but I will try to remain tight-lipped, at least for some of the battle sequences and outcomes. I will say, though, the one thing I'm annoyed about, I had a lot of jokes in this particular playthrough that, maybe I could redo some of them if they, occur to my brain in the same way at the same time, but, there's sort of like a moment for those things, and, once the moment happens, it's hard to recreate it, so like I said, there may be a few opportunities to provide similar jokes, but it won't quite be the same way it was on the first time around. So yeah, just bear with me and we'll watch this together. So yeah, obviously we're still with Ace's team here and in this cave trying to pursue the generals of Iom as they try to thwart our attempt to rescue Nick and topple their evil regime and their nefarious plans. I will say, there's, 3-4 times where I go get tea and feed Luca and pause, not pause, but, walk away from the microphone for a bit, so I'll try my best to still be here during that, so instead of just having to wait, I can provide some commentary and fill the time while waiting for the me of a few hours ago to come back. I feel like it would be very hot in that cave. Like exposed lava, which is to say liquefied rock, only a few feet away. Hello, Luca. Just jumped on my lap. There was a point in that playthrough, or in this playthrough I should say, where Luca stepped on the keyboard on my audio computer, and I wonder if that was part of why it messed up. But I still don't understand why it would be so glitched that, even as I would fix the synchronization of one moment with the right moment in the audio, then other parts of it were still out of sync. You think if I figured out that, it had been paused for a minute or something like that, and I shifted it forward a minute, then okay, it should all click into place and everything should be synchronized again, even if there'd be a minute that would be quiet because I moved the audio file forward. But no, even as I fixed it, it would be messed up in other places. So, like I said, the whole audio ended up being unusable. Because it would be weird, right? I'd be talking about things that 2 minutes later you would see happen. It'd just be completely jarring to go through that commentary. Oh! Earthquake. I think I commented at the time that this reminded me of the battle in Shining Force 2 when you have to fight Odd Eye and there's all those glass tiles, but then as you get close to some sections it removes the tiles and makes you go a longer, more serpentine route. And if there's anything we Shining Force hate doing, it's taking serpentine routes. I will give you a bit of a preview. Ace has a very good couple battles in this playthrough. He really starts to come into his own as the leader, not just in practice, but in stats for the Shining Force. Which at this point, again, is still split between his sub-team and Natasha's sub-team. Yeah, I feel like Claude, his tail feathers would be getting quite warm flying over the lava. Like, whatever you say about the people who are on the solid land, I think floating above lava might be a bit warm for your britches. Or your feathered bum, as the case may be. Yeah, more coming on Slade in a little bit, as you'll see. We're gonna learn some scurrilous gossip about Slade. I'll leave it at that for now, but... See, Sorcerer, no amount of knee or thigh flashing will save you. I would like to know why Eric is solid gold in his world map appearance, and then when we see him in the battle screen, he has silver armor with green highlights. Not much experience, but we're all impressed, Ace. I don't remember why I was looking at that. Maybe for the experience, because I was surprised you didn't go up a level. Although I guess if you got one experience point, you almost surely would not go up a level unless you happen to be at 99. Lots of tectonic activity on the way to Iom, fair to say. Or near, what was it, Algam Fort? Hawkman, not to be confused with Sylvester Stallone's character in Over the Top. What do you know, Slade? You're finally useful a bit. Emphasis on a bit. I do remember as we approach this final conflict of the battle, the last 2 or 3 enemies are surprisingly hesitant to engage with us. I think there's like multiple chances where they could attack and they just like move a space to the side and stay. It's like, wait, what? Well, I hope it was worth it, Evil Pixie, because I'm pretty sure that's your last move. You're a boss, Chester. Though a lady boss, right? Like, didn't we determine... See, right there. Like, what's that Hawkman doing? He could have attacked, chose not to. But yeah, I think we determined Chester is actually a female, right? So, a lady boss. Goodbye, worm. We hardly knew ye. Like, why didn't he attack right there? I love the bishop's like, screw you, man. If you're not gonna fight back, I'm just gonna heal myself. Claude, again endangering his tail feathers to get the kill. Ooh, hello, Protect Staff. Take my word for it, we're not going to actually show you the ceiling. Wait, Mayfair, I thought you said you knew that voice. Gotta say, Ace and Mayfair are both quite proficient rope climbers. Yo, I still say Sarah she's gotta be the offspring of Chris. She's gotta be Chris's daughter, meaning Chris from Shining Force 1. Hey, look! Our two teams have reunited, and the Shining Force is full once again. Side note, having now played this entire installment, I can tell you Sarah is a very high quality vicar and better than both Slade and Luke combined. Which again, I don't think there's any direct indication that she's related to Chris, but I'm just gonna view it that way. I'm gonna tell my own story because that would make it make sense, because Chris is Shining Force 1 royalty. Now here we go, watch this. For real, Slade, what's up, man? What have you been doing behind the scenes? Thank you for the information, Rode. I appreciate you bringing that to HR. And we've got our eyes on you, Slade. I don't know what you're up to, but you're bothering the ladies. I think at that point, when I'm showing Sarah, I think I was making the same point I did a couple minutes ago. That, like, you know what? I'm convinced she has to be related to Chris. Well, I do too, Natasha. I am sympathetic to your sentiment. Yeah, but you're apparently creeping people out, man. You may indeed, Mayfair. Oh, yep. I think this was the first time I went to get some tea, so I will mention, as I did at some point in the actual playthrough, the audio of which is forever lost to the ether, that yeah, we're getting closer to the end of Book 2, and without spoiling too much, I can tell you that at the end of this playthrough, we finished Chapter 3 of Book 2, and we're on to Chapter 4, which I think is the last chapter of Book 2. And then, as I think I've mentioned previously, Book 3, there's definitely multiple battles, but I don't think it's anywhere near as lengthy as Books 1 and 2, and then Book 4 is, I think, just a bonus battle with all the bosses, kind of like in that post-credit secret battle at the end of Shining Force 2. So that's, you know, literally just one fight, meaning we're definitely getting closer to completing Shining Force CD, and when we do that, we'll be on to the Phantasy Star games. I mentioned Phantasy Stars 1 and 2 are the ones I played, and they are just legendary, all-time greats, on the level of Chrono Trigger, on the level of Shining Force 1 and 2, just really some of the best role-playing games ever, and I'm very excited. They're kind of like sci-fi fantasy, meaning they take place in the future and there's interplanetary travel and spaceships and so on, but there still is a degree of fantasy, like there's magic users, and so, you know, the Shining Force games, they're definitely like, you know, medieval fantasy type games, but Phantasy Star, it still has the fantasy, but it's definitely sci-fi too. And as I think I talked about previously, when I did some of those audio reactions for the Phantasy Star soundtracks for 1 and 2 in anticipation of the coming playthroughs, someone remarked like, oh, you know, Phantasy Star 3 is great too. So I never played that 1 or 4, but I have the ROMs for 3 and 4 already on my computer, so I feel like once we finish 2, we might just go on through 3 and 4, which will be a brand new experience for me, so should be fun. But no joke, like Phantasy Stars 1 and 2, which I have played, you know, going back to my youth, they're just incredible. The storytelling in those games is top-notch. I feel like I'm explaining this not only to you folks out there, but to our Shining Force right here. I have them captivated. Meanwhile, apparently the weapon shop guy and the item shop guy didn't get the memo, so he's not here with us as the Shining Force returns to full strength. I feel like they should have also a dining table, like a big, you know, 16-person rectangular table that everyone could sit around. Don't think we're not thinking about you, Slade. We're all wondering what you've been doing to bother the ladies. Maybe it's just because he's such a useless curmudgeon out on the battlefield who always dies in one hit. But I fear it may be worse than that. Did I mention I'm hugely fond of the Happy Town theme? I think I may have 12 or 13 times, but let me just reiterate that for a 14th time. Well, it's a nice day in the Iom Valley, despite us being in pursuit of a insidious, magical cult. I don't quite know what you call Warderer and Solo and Barbara and all the generals, but the leadership of Iom might be awful, but they certainly live in a pleasant and scenic valley. Damn, I'm surprised I'm gone this long. There was one of my breaks where I had to not only get tea, but feed Luca, and I started a load of laundry. I guess this was it. That's right, folks. The leader of the Shining Force has to do laundry while he's traveling with his companions to thwart evil. Oh, I'm back. And apparently confused by the menu. Yeah, come back anytime, assuming you don't die out on your mission. Prince Cifer. Let me just insist. Yeah, Sarah's a boss. I like this ghoul over here holding a team resource meeting for the Iom soldiers. Adam solo, clearly. And a little foreshadowing, Sarah, I think, is 1 or 2 levels away from learning Aura, which, if you remember, is the spell that Chris in Shining Force 1 uses to really start advancing in the levels and ultimately becomes, or became, for me anyway, the highest leveled character in my entire team. So yeah, I really think she's cut from the same familial cloth as Chris, whether or not the game acknowledges it directly. Which is funny, because they do acknowledge a lot, like, you know, Apis in Book 1 is the son of Ken, and Anri's still there, and what is it, Lug is the son of Luke, or Roos, as they call him. And I still secretly, or not secretly, but I still maintain also that Dawn in Book 2 here must be the daughter of May from the original Shining Force. Deadly born? I don't think so. More like mildly annoying born. I don't know if it's here, but yeah, I think it might be. Eventually I learn, wait a minute, with Protect Staffs, yeah, I think I'm trying to figure out who to give the other Protect Staff to. But their attacks are surprisingly good. Look at that, 12 points. Not bad at all. Useless, Luke. Useless. As I said, Ace really starts to come into his own in this playthrough. Not ideal, Graham, but we'll deal with it. Also, if Graham had a cracker on him, does that mean it's a graham cracker? I apologize, that was not one of the jokes I made earlier. I'll hang my head in shame for the pun humor. Yep. I think that was a decision as to who should get the kill. And I think that was a debate as to whether I could go hit him, but if you do that, you run the risk of being blocked, so I think I was like, you know what, let's just use freeze to make sure. No, Jaha, you cannot sit on top of Claude. someone else gets poisoned right after that. I forget, I think it's Ace? Oh, he already did get poisoned. Okay. I did remember that it happened to 2 people in very quick succession. Like I said, Aura is coming soon with her. I don't remember exactly when it happens, but that's a game changer. You think Claude speaks with a French accent? A French avian accent, for that matter? Likewise, I wonder if Natasha speaks with a Russian accent, but of course... Hey, right on cue, Natasha. But yeah, not only do I now think of Road Rash when I see Natasha, but I also think of Rocky and Bullwinkle, the Boris and Natasha. For all you Rocky and Bullwinkle fans out there. I feel like the scaling of Blaze and Freeze in this game is not as good as it is in Shining Force 1 and 2. Meaning, like, in Shining Force 1, it's like Blaze takes off 6 or 7, depending on the enemy, but in general, it's like 6 or 7, and then Blaze level 2 is like 10 or 11 or 12, and then level 3 is like 17 or 18, and Freeze is like 1 or 2 points more for each. So like level 1 is like 7 or 8, level 2 is like 12 or 13, level 3 is like, you know, 18, 19, maybe 20. Here it's like level 1 for one of those spells is like 6 or 7, level 2 is like 9, and level 3 is like maybe 12 or 13. Like, it's not worth all the extra MP to get like 3 or 4 more hit points taken off. So yeah, I don't think they scaled Blaze and Freeze as fairly as they do in Shining Force 1 and 2. Ace is suffering. He needs someone to heal him. Though Luke, the only one with an antidote, died quite pathetically. Yeah, look at that. Not only a better defense, but a bigger difference for the offense. Go ahead and smack that worm, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Smack that worm, girl is probably a phrase said very few times in the history of the English language. I like how Eric delivers his medical herb to Graham via the tip of his spear, or lance. Feels like a dangerous way to administer a medical herb. I am Claude. How dare you, Bow Rider? That's Chris's daughter you're shooting at there. Oh, I think this might be another pause. I think I might have gone to get tea again. Oh, in my current audio recording, Luca is getting mischievous. Stay away from my audio computer keyboard, Luca. I'd like to avoid recording this a third time if possible. Well, if you didn't know they were monsters in Mortal Kombat, it's certainly an idyllic little scene, right? A babbling brook, some lush grassland, a dense forest, at the base of some scenic mountains, a lovely constructed bridge. If not for the poisonous worms and murderous sorceresses, it's a place you might want to vacation. I would love to hear the soundtrack of this game performed by a live orchestra. I know they've done it for, like Chrono Trigger has received full concert performances of that soundtrack. Not sure about the Shining Forces, and if it did happen to the Shining Forces, I'm guessing it would be 1 or 2, the original 2 legendary installments of the franchise. But this one would lend itself well because it is all like symphonic style, whereas the soundtracks for the first two games is, you know, it's more like chiptune, like video game music sounding. Luca, like, really? Luca's really ramping up her mischievous mode. I was going to see if I could sit here for the full 2 hours and 50 minutes, but I may have to give her some treats to placate her. I'll at least wait till the me playing the game comes back. Luca, stop! And indeed, how rude of me for the game-playing me to leave you here waiting. I'm glad the me of now can keep you company. Though, of course, more seriously, I'm aware that a lot of you probably just, you know, fast forward to when you can see the screen starts moving around again. You know, no reason to wait. Although you know, as I've mentioned in some playthroughs, there are times when I was young and I would play video games where I just enjoyed a musical track so much I would, like, either sit somewhere if it didn't play during pause, or if, like, it still played the music when you paused it, I would, you know, put it on pause and then just sort of enjoy the track. In fact, like, as a very little kid, some tunes from video games, I would, like, put my tape recorder, like tape player, my boombox, if you will, like, close to the TV, and I'd record the tracks. You know, this is long before soundtracks for video games were like a thing, at least here. I think in Japan, you know, that's been more of a thing for longer, but yeah, I'd like record the game tracks, just letting the level play. I remember doing that for some games. Which, again, it just speaks to the way that music has always been a huge part of my experience, no matter what it is. Like playing video games as a kid, watching TV shows in more recent years, watching films. I do always hear the music, which is interesting because, you know, there's been people who've commented when they watch shows, you know, they're not always hearing the music. They're kind of, you know, watching the action and listening to the dialogue and so on. And I totally get that, but my brain can't, like, not hear the music. So even if I am paying attention to what's going on, there'll be times where I'll, like, pause the show and, like, oh my God, like, do you hear this track? Let me back it up. I just got to hear that again. Or, you know, I actually missed the dialogue a little bit because I was so focused on the track. And yeah, as a kid, there'd be times where I was playing games and I'd just kind of, like, you know, I'd go get my brother, like, oh, have you heard the music on this level? Listen to this. Again, I'm gone for a long time. Well, I'm glad I'm here to chat away. And I love all the characters, protagonists and enemies, just kind of looking at the player like, alright, we're waiting. It's your move, sir. And he's back. All right. Wonder what I'm trying to figure out here. Oh, that's right. I was trying to figure out if I should go through those two mountain ranges across the forest, or try to walk them around to where Ace and everyone else is, and I think I decided to go straight through the forest between the two mountain ranges, even though they'll move slower. That's what I'm talking about, Chester. I like it. I'm surprised. I was thinking I would attack the sorcerer there, or sorceress. I think it says sorcerer, but it's clearly a lady. In any case, I feel like she is more of a threat than the poisonous worm. And again, that work team leader ghoul back there is like, oh, I gotta come up with a new plan. You know, we've got a company meeting tomorrow. Get him, Sarah. In fact, she doesn't even hit him with her staff. She, like, pokes him in the eyeball. Oh, there it is. Aura. Your days of bow riding are over, sir. Also, are you actually a rider if you are yourself the horse? I feel like that's debatable. Also, I will now qualify my previous praise of you, Chester, for getting blocked on that one. Which is interesting, right? Apparently a assault shell or whatever she's firing can be blocked just by putting up a cape in front of it. Again, punch that worm, girl. Let's go punch him. I feel like the punching would have taken off more. I critique my earlier self for wasting magic there. I suppose she could have been blocked, but... yeah, use your aura. Yeah. I didn't remember if I remembered that when I played it, but glad to see that I did. And nice timing on learning aura, right? The very next turn, it's relevant. Alright, you're back in the good side of the ledger, Chester. And I believe May hangs around and uses that other herb on Graham, if I'm not mistaken. Double finger bitch slap. Which, again, is probably a phrase said very few times in the history of the English language. I would say have some hell, worm, but I would just end up making the same joke about that being a very uncommon expression. Which I've now done in meta form. Well, Luke and Slade accepted. This has been a very productive battle. Lots of leveling up. Yep. Level 4. I think you went a little overboard, guy. Well, we're about... or I guess not quite. We're almost halfway through the playthrough. Which, I guess you can see that as much as I can. Normally when I'm playing, I don't know exactly when I'm halfway through, because I don't know exactly how long I'll be playing. So this is, again, interesting to do for multiple reasons. But I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's, you know, it's the kind of game where it's less about reaction commentary, which is further to say when I play Mario Brothers or, you know, Mario Kart or, you know, one of the one-off games I've done, like Revenge of Shinobi and so on. Like, a lot of my comments are responses to things that happen in the minute, you know, like me saying like, oh damn, like, you know, because I fell or something that wasn't supposed to happen, or me being surprised by apples falling on my head as I'm thinking of Mickey Mouse in the Castle of Illusion. But with Shining Force, and this is partly why I enjoy doing Shining Force playthroughs, I guess role-playing game playthroughs in general, although, you know, Chrono Trigger is a little more active, meaning there's rarely times where you can just, like, sit there in a battle. Like, obviously, if you're in a town or something in Chrono Trigger, you can sit and just talk. But in Shining Force, because it's kind of like chess, and when it's your turn, you know, you're not on the clock. Like, you can just sit there and, like, look at the situation, or, you know, I can talk about the battle more broadly, or storylines, or whatever. I kind of like role-playing game playthroughs, and especially Shining Force playthroughs, because I'm not having to, like, think quickly and react at the moment. Like, when I'm playing Mario, like, sometimes I can't say anything because I'm so focused, and, you know, sometimes I don't want to say anything because I'm so frustrated at the way I just died. But Shining Force, it's a much more kind of relaxed playthrough, so yeah, I do very much enjoy it. And so in that respect, doing this after the fact, it's not terribly different. It's like, it's kind of like it is when I'm playing, except like here, I've put all my characters on auto, which you can do. Like, you can select your character to engage in, like, battle protocols based on the AI, essentially. Which, of course, I never do, but... like, this would be more different if I were recording audio after the fact for a Super Mario World playthrough. Because there wouldn't be that, like, oh, am I gonna get through? Like, oh no, crap. Like, you know, it'd be completely different. It'd be like doing post-game analysis for a sports match, where it's like, see, my problem here, like what I didn't do correctly here. So is the ghoul holding his own head in his hand, or does his head and neck just sit very oddly because he is undead? Well, that was a bit of a wash. A non-functional exchange. Balón? Though I do not believe that is Iom Castle in front of us, right? I think that's Fort Algam. I'm trying to remember. Obviously I played it earlier, but yeah, I don't think that's Iom Castle. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm guessing there's another T run about to happen. No, I'm just going straight. Okay. I was like, Solo's like, I'm right here, Barbara. You think I can't hear you? How rude. Who are you, masked man? Ha ha! Is that how you say that? I guess this is Iom Castle? Maybe they'll say it, I don't remember. Wait, I thought it was Ballon. Now it's Death Balloon? Which would be a great metal band name from the 80s, I have to say. Alright, well I'm buying medical herbs and the like. I'm going to go give Luca those treats and I shall be right back. Okay. Apparently I changed my mind. Oh, that's right. I was like, is there anything other than the demon rod I just sold you? Which, incidentally, a 25% markup. Oh, looks like I'm off to get tea again. Well, yes, I'm glad the me of a few hours ago is offset against the me now, so I can offer some commentary. And in that regard, it is surprising to me how little of this game I remembered. I guess it's just because I played this one multiple times when I was a teen, because again, it came out in 94, I guess 95, because it was developed in 94 and 95. So yeah, for most of 95, I was 14, turned 15 at the end of the year, so I certainly played it multiple times, but definitely far fewer times in Shining Force 1 and 2, which I remember beating multiple times as a youth, and I also beat both of them when I first got emulators and ROMs, which now was like, I don't know, 10 years ago. It was like the early, or at least the first half of the 2010s. Whereas this one I hadn't played since I had it for my Sega CD in the mid-90s, so I guess it's just a product of me playing it far less. But yeah, Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2, I remembered, almost completely when I did those playthroughs, but this one has been a real surprise, like the story plot points I haven't recalled at all, so I have no idea how this book ends up. I'm assuming we rescue Prince Cifer, who's inexplicably being called Nick by other characters in the story. But yeah, I'm assuming we rescue Cifer, but I don't remember how it plays out. I don't remember this whole storyline about there being a traitor in the Iom ranks, so it'd be very interesting to see how this all shakes down narratively. Again, can't we bring out like a rectangular table and we can invite the shop guy over and Mayfair can come out? Just have a nice little feast before we go back out into the battlefield. Maybe a big kotatsu. We can all have a hot pot and share a kotatsu. I like how Mayfair and I guess also Sarah, they travel around in a portable castle while the rest of us are out in sleeping bags in the camp. And one more time for the Happy Town theme. And he's back. So many treasure chests. 6 chests. 3 pairs. And yeah, this is a long battle. As you can see, we've got about an hour, a little bit less than that, but like 55 minutes to go, and it's all this battle. Although, I guess the last few minutes is the conclusion of Chapter 3 narratively, but yeah, this is certainly a long battle. And I'm just going to get ahead of things and tell you that Deadlyborn and that Ghoul are the Laurel and Hardy, the Beavis and Butthead of this battle, because I go left with everybody instead of splitting people up, and those two enemies chase us very slowly for the entire battle and never catch us. We defeat Solo before either of them ever catches up to one of our characters. Damn you, Cerberus. If I was Mario, I would have said he ate a spicy meatball. Again, I'll just hang my head in shame now, don't worry about it. Again, probably could have punched him, but didn't want to get blocked. Also, didn't Cerberus have 3 heads in mythology? What happened to your 3rd head, man? Well, Healing Rain is good. I also like how if you mistakenly try to open a chest with someone whose belongings are full, it doesn't end your turn. I think in Shining Force 1 and 2, if that happened, you'd just be like, well, you've wasted her turn, and now they're in front of the chest, annoyingly. But in this one, they're like, nope, you can't do that, but you can still move somewhere else. The metal band from the 80s? I love them. So yes, the balloons, which as you can see there, look more like fungi brains. They're kind of like the burst rocks in Shining Force 2, if you remember those, where like they explode either if you let them sit there too long or if you attack them. But in that regard, if they're going to blow up anyway, I think it's better to actually attack them and at least get some experience for it, even if they end up hurting you and people in the blast radius. So that's what I do here. Also, I think the first album from Death Balloon was Fungi Brain, so it fits. Yep, trying to figure out who should get the critical sword. In the end, I give it to Ace. I can tell you, Ace does learn Bolt level 2. Another death balloon. Go for it. You know you want to attack that death balloon. Do it, Ace. And now would be a good time for Aura to come into effect. And speaking of that, without really spoiling much, I'll say that I end up giving that running ring to Sarah so that her healing abilities have greater range in any given turn. Get a cup of water really quick. I'm pretty sure I don't take a tea break anytime in the next few minutes, so yeah, give me like a minute or two. I'm gonna go get a cup of water. Okay. About time you go up and get that other chest, Claude. I like how Graham set it off but was out of the range. Claude's like, hey, you want to give me a warning next time, man? Meanwhile, the comedic relief Ghoul and Deadly Born just continue in their futile quest to catch up to us. Luca, stay away from the audio computer. Oh my goodness, Luke, you're not completely useless, just mostly useless. The same for you, Slade. Not wholly ineffective, just predominantly ineffective. Indeed, I feel like the Deadly Born and the Ghoul are the Slade and Luke of the Iom army, which is a major burn. Turns out slapping a guy in full armor doesn't do much. I would say that Sorcerer is on thin ice, but I've already been pushing it with the pun jokes. But again, I like how Natasha smacking the Sorcerer with her staff took off more than Freeze level 3. actually don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know why I'm checking all those different people. And side note, I'm not actually going to go up that central stairway. I'm going to go all the way around so I can make sure to get those other two chests. Now there's something amusing that happens here. You'll see, Solo has 53 MP. Or had 53 MP before he used that. And he's gonna do one of those double turn things. Okay, so the cleric is using attack on Solo, right? So he can go punch me and it'll hurt worse. But it's all a bit of a false alarm because I'm just gonna get that chest and take off. And like Solo gave me a reprieve on that turn. It's like, no, I don't want to cast Bolt again or go attack him despite the cleric just using attack magic on me. And then he'll remember, he'll get a third turn before Claude can move, and he's like, oh wait, no, maybe I should use Bolt on him. But the upshot of all this is that by the time I work my way around to where he is, he's not going to have a whole lot of magic left. So Claude going up there served two purposes. He grabbed the halberd, and as you can see, he got Solo to use 30 MP for basically no reason, because I start healing Claude as he flies back over to the rest of the group with the herbs that he has in his possession. So Solo, you might be powerful and a dangerous magic user, and yet you're not the brightest tool in the shed. Guess what? That's not going to work. You already boosted him. Talk about a clerical error. I'm sorry. That's like the 5th pun joke I've done in this playthrough. Not all of which I did in the original one. This another tea break? I guess it is. Oh, wait, no. Just a momentary brain freeze from Chester. Oh, I remember this. Like, that chest there in the corner, there's like 4 or 5 people in a row who are within one space of being able to open it, but they just keep not being able to walk to that one space. Yep, there's the first of them. And I guess her hands are sort of full anyway, but... Straight cash. Just getting cash money. So yeah, like 2 people in a row, 1 space away. It is interesting, the heat axe in this game, in both Book 1 and Book 2, you get it quite late. Whereas in Shining Force 1, the heat axe shows up pretty early on, and it is a notable improvement when you get it. And then even once you start getting axes that are stronger than it, it still has use for a while because it has the effect of using it as Blaze level 2. But yeah, it comes much earlier in the first Shining Force, whereas here it's like a weapon that comes late in both Book 1 and 2. Oh, Eric, you silly man, or centaur. Though don't worry, he will redeem himself before the battle is over. Though not with that death balloon, it's with a different enemy. attack by 3. You're impressing me, you French hawk. Also, Claude, I got news for you. That death balloon's just gonna blow up in your face. I don't get a chance to destroy it. It kills itself. There it is. Bolt level 2. Not the bolt level 3 that Michaela has, but still respectable. Incidentally, I mentioned... Where did I mention it? I don't remember, but basically there's another Japanese-only Shining Force game. I forget the specific name of it, and it links Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2 more directly. And it's essentially about, like, Michaela's one of the main characters. She's like, you know, it's post Shining Force 1 where she was defeated at Skull Castle, but I forget exactly the storyline, because again, I never played the game. I only read about this in recent months. But yeah, obviously it would be tough to play if all the dialogue boxes are in Japanese, or, you know, kanji or katakana. But I still, at some point, would be happy to play it. I think, in fact, there's been like a fan dub, for lack of a better word, where they changed the dialogue boxes into English, but that's the ROM that I think is available is like just the full Japanese game, so I'd have to like look around, but maybe at some point I can find an English language translation for it. In any case, this is not only another inglorious moment for Slade, but that's the enemy that Eric will redeem himself for failing to kill that death balloon with. My parallel structure there was dubious. But yes, Eric will eventually take out that Hawkman. Though I think it's still not enough to get him to level 7. And Graham is gracious enough here to not take him out. And you can see, I'm like, wait, what? Like, you didn't go up a level there? What is up, Eric? The thing about people falling behind with levels is like, as long as they're still within 2 or 3 levels of the standard at any given time, then they're still strong enough to do reasonable damage and they can catch up, because at some point they start getting more experience for an enemy that someone who's basically at the standard level would get. But if they fall behind too far, looking at you, Luke, eventually they start only being able to take off like 1 point of damage, and that is a big problem, because then it's like, it's hard to catch up because you just can't kill anyone, even if they would give you a lot of experience. It looks like the me of earlier is indeed taking a tea break, or maybe feeding Luca. I forget exactly which one it was, but yeah, I think I am away from the controller at this point. But it's funny, like, these battles, when you're playing them, they can be a bit of a grind, because, you know, you have to go like a long route, and or they just take a while to play. Though I feel like in Shining Force CD, those are slightly less common. Like in Shining Force 1 and 2, there are definitely a lot of those kind of battles. In this one, it feels like, because both Book 1 and 2 are, compared to Shining Force 1 and 2, shorter, they don't do as many of those. But in another way, I actually enjoy them, because it's like, there's more strategy involved, especially if it's a large battlefield with different paths you can take. It's funny though, when we get to Phantasy Stars 1 and 2, it's a different type of role-playing game, meaning there aren't like set battles. I mean, there are places you go where, you know, you have to defeat a certain dungeon or castle or whatever, and then it's, you know, it, like, the whole interface is different. It's like, it has what are called random battles in Phantasy Star, meaning like you walk around and every so often the algorithm is like, oh, you ran into an enemy and you have to fight them. So they're not like set pieces. Like Shining Force, the series, it's all like set pieces, right? Like there's certain enemies on certain battlefields, and even if you leave the battle and come back, it's the same every time. Even if it, you know, it can play out differently depending on what you do and the hit or miss dynamic and so on. But in Phantasy Star, except for bosses in certain places, it's completely random. So it's less clear on exactly what you're going to face, and, you know, when you run into someone and so on. So yeah, I mean, you'll see when we get there, but it's battles there are a different dynamic, and it's not as easy to strategize because you don't know when you're going to fight someone or who it's going to be, and, you know, like how many enemies, because like sometimes you'll run into, you know, just one enemy, and then other times you run into like 5 or 6 of them. Either way, as you can tell, my excitement for the Phantasy Stars is building quite significantly, though of course I'm still excited for everything we have left in Shining Force CD. And I'm especially curious about Book 3, because as I said, I know it's still multiple battles, but I think maybe it's only 1 chapter. At the very least, I know it's shorter. And I remember it's kind of like East Asian themed. It takes place in, I guess, the kingdom's like eastern realms, because there's like samurai and ninja, and like even the music has like an East Asian theme. So I don't remember exactly the context, but I do recall that. Well, we're almost there, like 7 minutes to go. I hope you've enjoyed this slightly atypical commentary, which again, I guess in practice isn't terribly different than when I play in the moment. Although, admittedly, the specific subject matter that I've talked about and when I've talked about it has been quite different from the recording I did in real time. But as I said, it's neither here nor there. It just, for whatever reason, it glitched out and was... Not only did it stop early, but even the part that I recorded, it wasn't syncing up to the video. So I don't know, like, somehow it like paused or like, yeah, it just really glitched out. So I had to do it this way, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed doing this after the fact commentary. Even if, you know, when I do future playthroughs, I will, of course, go back to the regular way, as long as my computer doesn't glitch again. Doesn't Solo's head look remarkably tiny in the battle screen? I know he has kind of a long forehead in his profile picture, but in the battle sequence he looks so tiny. Like, his head is like the size of a mango. I do like this main boss battle theme. It's very dramatic. I should react to that one at some point in the not too distant future. Though again, the soundtrack for Shining Force CD, when I downloaded it years ago, it doesn't have any track titles, and I've poked around online and I can't seem to find a proper track list. I think they're just, you know, like BGM1, BGM2, which I never knew what that meant. Like, as a kid, there'd be soundtracks like in some of the menus of games, and it would list the different tracks as like BGM. So I don't know if it's like something game music, but either way, the point is, it's weird. It was weird to do reactions to, or a reaction to the town music for this game, because I didn't, like, I literally was like, do I just call it town music? Like, there's no name for it. Whereas in Shining Force 1 and 2, the soundtracks have actual names for the tracks. Either way, I'll figure it out. I'll probably just call it boss attack music or something, and I'll react to it. Alright, Claude. I should have healed here with Sarah, because she ends, like, I knew hell wouldn't kill him, because magic always takes off less off bosses, but I think I get like 3 experience, and I remember thinking, damn it, I should have just healed. I would have gotten 10 experience. Alright, Claude, it's you, man. Put him out of his misery. It's like, wait a minute, there's another traitor? We've crushed Algam Fort. We crushed it, bro. But yeah, so I didn't remember this either. Like, apparently there's a traitor within the Iom generals, but also there's now a suggestion that Ace maybe came from Iom, which is funny, right? Because, like, we learned that Cifer in the first book actually came from Cyprus, but didn't want to be part of what the king, or his uncle, was doing, and so he fled and became part of the Shining Force, only to reveal his identity later. And now it's like, apparently Ace is the same thing, or at least there's a suggestion that somehow they know him in Iom and they consider him a traitor. But again, I don't remember how all this plays out, so I will try. I don't know how long Chapter 4 is, and, you know, maybe it'll be prohibitively long, but my thought is to do the next chapter all in one installment and finish book 2. I guess we'll find out. She's like, I'm standing right next to you, don't gotta shout. You mean Prince Cifer? Okay, so apparently Warderer thinks Hindle here is the traitor within the Iom ranks, which makes sense, right? Like, he's in a mask. Well, there we go. We made it. We got all the way through, because I save here and I call it for this particular playthrough. And yeah, like I said, I'll try to do as much of Chapter 4 as I can in the next installment, and maybe we can finish Book 2, though I don't quite know how many battles it'll be, so if it ends up being like 3 hours or something, maybe I'll split it. But either way, we're very close to the end of Book 2. We'll be on to Book 3, which is, as I said, I'm pretty sure shorter. And then we'll be on to Book 4, and then Phantasy Star. In any case, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for bearing with me for this secondary commentary, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.